Welcome to day 14 of the Learn How to Study Abroad in 30 Days series. If you are new to this series, please go ahead and check out the playlist linked below to catch up on everything that we have talked about. This is day 14. And so today we're going to be following up from what we talked about in day 13, specifically talking about scholarships and how you can tackle scholarships in your study abroad search. We're going to go ahead and begin talking about. So for day 14 of our 30-day series, we are talking about scholarships specifically. So in yesterday's video, we were talking about scholarships, grants, and loans, but I want to just dive a bit deeper into scholarships because I know that is something that most students are looking for because it's free money and it's something that more students qualify for in their overall journey for study abroad. So let's kind of dive into that. So the do's and don'ts of scholarships. So similar to what we discussed in day 13, you will want to just keep in mind that there are a variety of different types of scholarships out there. And you, number one, may not or usually don't qualify for all of them. And number two, you shouldn't spend too much time applying for the ones either that you don't qualify for or ones that you feel that are not going to be as great for you. In a minute, we're going to talk about some of the different types. But I will just say that you want to make sure that you are going through clearly and reading the fine print. So you want to understand, is this a merit-based scholarship, as we talked about in day 13 of it's based on academic rigor or based on your grades or based on your sportsmanship or whatever that's going to look like for you? Or is it going to be more need-based? And so keeping in mind that if you are someone who you come from a family that makes more money, maybe the need-based scholarships are not going to work for you, but you've gone through and started working on the application and then you didn't realize that this is actually not something that you qualify for. So you want to just keep that in mind. You also just want to think about the fact too that there's so many scholarships out there. And even when it comes to study abroad, you have government-based scholarships, and you have government-based scholarships from your own home government, at least within the Western world of your own home government. There's lots of different scholarships that are available. They may be more specialized, but they're still available. But then you also may have, in some instances, scholarships from the foreign government of where you're trying to go that may be trying to get more students into that country. So there's so much going on. And so I know that one of the things that I always like to say for students is don't overwhelm yourself too much when you're looking for scholarships. You want to make sure that you are going through and having a criteria of saying if it's going to be where, because some scholarships, for example, they will list how many students apply. So if there's going to be 20,000 students that apply, I'm not saying don't apply, but don't say that this is the one that I definitely must get and must try. You may want to try for one that is not going to be as popular or may not have as much competition within your particular area. And I know that can be difficult because you're going through all of these posts online and trying to figure out everything. And even if you're going through, let's say, your study abroad office at school, there's so much information out there. So try not to overwhelm yourself and try to be very clear about the types of ones you want to go after and then just go really hard after those. So the common types of study abroad scholarships, you will see that these mirror what you find in undergrad and college here in the U.S. and throughout other parts of the world. So as we talked about as well in day 13, we have our merit-based and we have our need-based. So merit-based scholarships are going to be, again, based on your academics, based on your sportsmanship. It could be based on a special skill that you have where you basically are earning that through whatever you can offer the institution. Then you have your need-based scholarships, which are going to be more financial need-based. So you have a student who falls under the threshold of what will be required to get other types of aid. And so the school or the organization, or even if it's a private donor, may say that I want to offer a scholarship to this person to be able to complete this program. And there are lots of those out there. Then you have your name brand scholarship. So I like to call these the name brand ones. These are the ones that everyone knows. So Fulbright, Chevron, Rhodes Scholar, things like that, that everyone kind of knows, or at least out there in the atmosphere. They're really popular and people from all around the world take them, but they are highly, highly competitive. And so it's not something that is unattainable. We see people do it every single year. We know that those are possible, but those are the ones, again, that you may not want to put too much stock in unless you know that, for example, you have outstanding GPA, you have outstanding scores, you are going to be within the top 1% of competing for those. that you may still want to apply because it never hurts to apply. And you may get lucky and may actually get it, but that you may want to just think about based on the criteria of what you have and how you fit in with what they're looking for, it may not be worth your time to apply. So just think about that. Academic opportunity with these, again, a lot of times it could be based on your particular field, where if you are someone who falls within a particular criteria, then you're eligible for a scholarship either from your school or from your particular program. So don't discount those either. Location based, there are certain locations where you're likely or more likely to get a scholarship to go. So maybe it's a program that's off the beaten path, or maybe you are going to be in a new program where it's experimental and they're doing it where a lot of people don't study abroad. There are opportunities out there like that, which are considered location-based scholarships. So you have decided that you want to apply for this study abroad program in this particular location, and there are scholarships available. And I just want to say that overall, they're usually not going to be, with the exception of the name brand ones, which is why they're so competitive, these scholarships are not going to be full ride. So they're not going to be where they cover every expense, but usually they're going to be enough to where they take off a chunk of what you would need so that you don't have to worry about paying that back. You don't have to worry even about paying for it yourself. So that's why people tend to trend towards scholarships. Last but not least, specialty based. So I think of this a lot in things like the medical field or in the music field or in the arts, the creatives. There's a lot of scholarships out there like that for study abroad students specifically in those areas. So if your particular area, you feel like there might be a scholarship out there or some scholarships that you can apply for, you'll want to check out those and start researching those, figure out if you fall within the criteria of what you need to actually be able to get those. So how to wow in your scholarship essay. So we have already started talking about personal statements, but with your scholarship essay, depending on what type of essay you are applying for, you'll want to showcase either number one, if it is a merit-based, this is the time for you to be able to dive in and talk about the things that you have done. So talk about not just the fact that you have great grades, but also talk about the fact of how you actually got here. What were some of the steps that you took to actually get here? So was it that you said, well, all of my friends, on, the weekends they would go out and party and do whatever. And I said, well, I really want to get a first, or I really want to be able to get honors. And so I decided that I wasn't going to do that. And these are the steps that I took. Maybe you had some academic struggles. And so you were like, well, I had to, in order to get through these 2 courses, I had to get a tutor. And this is what the process looks like for me. A lot of times people love hearing about that at the scholarship level because, again, it shows, number one, that you have commitment. It shows that you have tenacity, and it means that they're just not throwing away their money for free, that you're actually going to value it. Similarly, if you are applying for need-based scholarships, you don't just want to do it from like I'm a victim. That's not the role that we're trying to play here. And no one is looking at you as a victim if you don't have the money to do it. I'm just saying that from an example, you don't want to go into it of, I've had a really rough life and this is why I need the money. You want to paint the picture for them of what this scholarship is going to mean to you. So that's always the road that we want to take if you are doing need-based scholarships, is not just talking about what your particular needs are. They're going to be able to see that because usually you have to provide some type of financial statement, or your family at least might have to do that so they can see that you don't have the money. But what they actually want to hear from you is, what is this scholarship going to mean to you? Is it going to mean that, you're going to be the first person, not just in your family, to go to college, but also to study abroad, and that this could really level up your career? Or that you have just a few more credits to finish and you feel that study abroad is going to help to give you those few credits, and then you're going to go off and do X, Y, Z. So you want to paint the story and tell that positive narrative. Again, as I always say with everything that we do in this series and just in general on my channel, we want to keep it positive and keep it straightforward and not, paint the worst part of everything, but just show people what that's going to mean. Because again, whether it be from a foundation or an individual or even from a school who is granting a scholarship, these are usually competitive spots, even if it's need-based, and they want to give it to people who actually want it, who are going to do something valuable with whatever they're getting. So you want to make sure that you wow them with showing that you were introspective in, whether it be with your merit base of saying that this is what he or she did to actually go through and get those great grades. This is what they did to make sure that they were top of their field at the sporting tryouts or whatever it was. Or if it's need-based, we know that they're coming from a rough place financially and that their family is, but that this is what they're going to do. And so I want to give them the money to be able to do this so that they can move forward, and this could really change their life. So you want to think of it from that perspective when it comes to scholarships. And so with scholarships, it's so exciting because, of course, not in addition to it being free money, it's also an opportunity for you to be able to showcase some of what you've done in your academic career up to this point. And also, too, if you have a need specifically for financial aid, it's also an opportunity for you to be able to show the scholarship panel specifically how this is going to help you. So you're really what type of interview you're going to have to do for your scholarship. I hope this video has been helpful for you, like the rest of the series, and I will see you tomorrow for day 15.